everybody. Jason Barger here, and I'm sitting with my friend Howard Behar. Howard was the former president of Starbucks International, and started with Starbucks when it had 28 stores, and helped to be a part of the team to grow that to 12,000 or so stores internationally. And so we're just sitting here today talking a little bit about leadership. And you know, we were talking last night about the pace that we are all running at in our lives,
right.
In our family lives, in our career lives, and yet how important it is for us to be able to step back and to connect to a longer vision, and maybe connect back to why we do what we do. Speak a little bit about that, would you?
Yeah, well, I think it's awful easy for us to get caught up in the passion of the day, so to speak, and the speed of doing everything. And many times when we do that, we tend to lose sight of our purpose or our greater purpose. And when you do that, you know, it's very difficult to stay focused on your goals, what you're trying to achieve. And it seems to be more important to just be rushing around than to be accomplishing something. And so stepping back means, you know, taking a breath, thinking about why you're here, re-looking at what your goals are, what you're trying to accomplish, what are you trying to leave behind in this world. And it's hard to do when you're just busy. You know, it's hard to remember your purpose when all your energy is being used up in just trying to get things done as fast as you can get them done. And so, you know, I think it's important that all of us, you know, take that time to, it's not just stepping back from work, right, but, you know, taking a step back from all the things that we do each day to make sure that we're really doing and working on the things that we want to be working on, and that our purpose is clear, and that our passions are evident.
So, I mean, have you seen that organizationally too, that how is it that you name time and take specific time to say, all right, let's not get caught up in the minutia of the details or get caught up in just what we did yesterday, but how is it that we as teams, like personally, but then also as teams or organizations, how do we name time to step back so that new ideas and maybe new passion can arise?
Well, you know, one of the things that I have found that really works is, you know, sometimes you plan on stepping back. You know, you take a break, you have a retreat, or you go away for a couple days. I think it's equally important to step back all the time, every day. And humor is one of the greatest ways of stepping back. You know, you can be at a really intense meeting working on something that the whole team thinks that is really important. And all of a sudden you lose track of why you're there. Right? People are arguing with each other, and it's more about who's winning the argument, and then somebody will crack a joke, right? And we'll all laugh, and we'll stop and say, wait a minute. Why are we here again? What's our purpose? And so it's kind of one of those little step backs, you know? It's laughing at ridiculous moments that take place. You know, it's you know, you talk about it so greatly in your book, and about, you know, stepping back from the baggage claim. You know, that time when the bag, it just never seems to come out. You know, and you're getting madder and madder and madder. Don't they know I got to get out of here? I got things to do. Right? And there isn't a darn thing that you're going to do about it. The other day when I was coming to the meeting, right, my flight got up, I had to get up early in the morning, got on the flight. We got out of there about 15 minutes late, out of Seattle, and then we get 3/4 of the way across the country, almost to Atlanta, and we start circling Atlanta. And there's a big storm. And before you know it, we're landing in Little Rock. And so, you know, the flight's 4.5 hours late, and I remember talking to somebody on the airplane. And both of us were a little older, you know? And we were laughing. We say, well, it's just the way it is, you know? And you don't want to waste any energy on that stuff, right? You want to use your energy towards productive things, and the things that you really want to accomplish in life. And so, you know, you got to step back from what's going on at that particular time. And sometimes you just got to laugh about it, you know? It's kind of funny sometimes, you know?
Well, you know, as we were talking last night, I think sometimes the tendency is for us to get so caught up in the kind of intricate business strategy. Right. And you made the comment that actually our success is going to be determined by our ability to respond in a positive manner to the obstacles, delays, and cancellations, like at the airport, right, or at things that come up in business and our organizations and our family lives, things that come up in our lives out of our control, and yet how we choose to respond in those moments, that's what's going to determine our success. And you shared that in your book. It's not about the coffee, about your experience at Starbucks.
Right.
Is that what you're seeing? Is that, especially in an economy and in the world we live in right now that's changing so frequently, how we choose to respond does lead to how successful we'll be?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we always, because we live in the present, right? Our lives are our lives. We have a tough time learning from history. But let me tell you, it's tough out there now, but it's no tougher today than it was 20 years ago. I remember going through a huge recession in the 70s and 80s when we had stagflation, when we had inflation rates at 18% or 15% and interest rates at 20%. And it was tough then. And it was tough before then. And we had recessions and depressions. And let's go back before the industrial age. How about the farmers that were planting seeds and then they didn't get the rain and the crop didn't come up? I mean, everybody deals with problems or opportunities, depending on what you want to call them. And that's just part of life. And I have a sign on my office wall, and it goes like this: there are no stressful situations, only stressful responses. And it is absolutely true. And is it difficult to not have a stressful response? Yes, it is. Right. But if you're conscious of your response, it's much easier than when you're not. When you just react, sometimes it comes from the subconscious. Yeah. Right? Right. But if you're aware of yourself, your surroundings, how you're responding, then it makes it easier to kind of just deal with it. Yeah. And not take it so seriously. Most of the things that we deal with, almost everything we do, it's not personal. Right. Right. Right? It's just not personal. Yeah. It just is. So, the more we can learn to step back from those kinds of things, I think, the happier, more productive, more purposeful lives we're going to lead.
Yeah, and we're actually going to be better at what we do.
Exactly.
And, that's the piece that I think gets missed is that if we don't step back, then we race recklessly past other people, and we don't bring our best selves to the work that we have to do.
Exactly.
And how frequently that stressful reaction, that leads to creating a culture within our team, that's the way that we then choose to respond. That becomes the way that we crowd the baggage claim in our organization, is just by the stressful response becomes the norm.